All right. So I decided to get on this lovely little contraption and share with you all some thoughts of mine. As always, you can take them, you can leave them, but they're here for you um, if you need a little bit of extra and you've been contemplating some things in your mind and just needing um, some extra input to maybe help you out a little bit. And today I was thinking about the concept of why it is that we as people don't do a better job of vetting those that we involve in our healing journey. And I say that because as I have gone through my healing journey, I have ran into many obstacles. And when I look back over some of the things that I've been able to um, overtake or get over or go through and come out on the other side on, I realized that some of the people that I was trying to lean on in order to get the help and support and understanding that I needed, they themselves could not provide it to me. Um, and it started my thinking on why it is that we as people that are trying to live better lives or do things differently, why it is that we often seek people who are just as hurt, if not more hurt than we are, to be a part of that journey and expect for them to support us and give us this guidance on things that they themselves have not been able to achieve. And I started looking around at all of the different situations that I've been in, and Lord knows I've been in many, um, which is kind of the reason why I started coaching, because I knew that I hadn't lived the life that I had lived and seen the things that I had seen and been exposed to the things that I have been exposed to, all of it just to be kept within a bottle of myself. You know, I hear people talk and it's like, man, if they only knew that there is healing on the other side of that, or that that doesn't define who they were, that was the situation that they were in, they might see things a little bit differently. But then I go back to how is it that people get to this point of sharing and making the misguided assumption that the people that they are providing um, insight into their lives and asking for them to provide them with some type of help or healing or just some type of relief, what makes us think that these people can help us? Like, we know them, or we think we know them, and we see where they are with their lives, and you know, and hopefully they're sharing with you just like you're sharing with them. And the question becomes, are we sharing in trauma? Are we sharing in pain? And because we share the same pain, we're looking for one or multiple people to shield us and provide this healing through their magical powers that they haven't, you know, shown you that they've had, but we assume that it's got to be there because we're sharing. And we're sharing tears, we're sharing private moments that we probably never shared with even our closest loved ones. But you walk away and you don't feel necessarily better. You feel bonded, but you don't feel necessarily heard the way that you need to be heard. you feel heard and that you're not alone, but you don't feel heard like it's going to get better. And so for me, I've been thinking about it, and it's like what I have done, and many like me who have done, is we've asked a person on 3 flats to take us to go get a winning lottery ticket. And it just didn't make sense. And it's like, how are you expecting someone else that is not where they want to be in life and not experiencing the joys that they themselves are seeking, to put you on their back and make you their priority? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But then I started looking at, again, like, why does this happen? And it happens oftentimes because we're trying to transition into another place, and we're attached to people that we've known our whole lives. And so there's a level of familiarity there. And it's like, if you are familiar with me and you know my journey, you know where I came from, you've got to understand me, and you've got to be able to pull it from somewhere to help me get to where I want to be. Or there's a level of security there, like, you're not going to harm me, you're not going to out me, you're not going to put my baggage out there for the world to see that I'm not a whole person. So I feel secure with you. There's no way that you can't get me to this next level by shielding me. Not understanding that healing doesn't come from necessarily shielding, but it comes from being vulnerable and saying, I'm not whole in this area. But that's okay, because in order for me to acknowledge it and move past it, it's got to be in the upfront. Family. This is such a hard one, because we grow up and we're told that family is family, and it's not until you get out of the space of family and you start living on your own and you start creating your own families of non-blood that you realize that some of your family members couldn't help their way out of a wet paper bag. They just physically and mentally and spiritually and emotionally cannot do it for you. But when that's all you know, and you see them striving and making it in their own space, not necessarily considering what they wanted to be for themselves, but you see them go to work, you see them, providing for their children, or you see them going out and partying, or you see them on, family gatherings, and they just look like they have the answers. And it's not until you start having conversations with them that they feel like you're safe enough that you realize they were just holding on by a thread too. And you understand that all of this is a false sense of, I know what I'm looking at. And healing doesn't come from a false sense of anything. Healing only comes when you can be honest and you can be real about what is in front of you, what was behind you that is impacting what is in front of you, and overall how it is distracting you or detracting you from ultimately the person that you want to be. And the fact is, you can't get any closer to your end goal with people or images or past lives that don't promote healing. They can love you as much as they want to, and they can show you their level of joy and gratitude and, positivity. But that all comes at a limit, because you can't truly be happy for others if you're not happy. That's a lie. It's a lie we tell ourselves. Like, oh, I could be happy for such and such and their growth. Like, yeah, that's cool, but there's a limit to it. And if you're honest about that limit, you know that I can't be truly happy for a person if I'm not happy. If I'm feeling like I'm a disappointment, or I haven't achieved what I need to achieve, and people don't know this about me because I'm holding on to it, and they see this space over here that looks so wonderful, but they don't know that I'm truly suffering with depression, or I got financial issues, or my love life is in shambles. It's hard to truly be happy for another person until you get past that or through it. But we're not being honest. And we need to be. So for me, I realized through my healing journey, because thankfully I have been able to move in a way that I've been blessed. I have truly been blessed in that a lot of my healing came from having time alone. Having time alone with myself, to sit with my negative thoughts and say, what happened? What happened to you? Where was a turning point where this was no longer about the happiness that is in you naturally, and then just working my way towards that? I had to stop being angry at people that didn't have it to give. I had to apologize to people that at a certain point I was being selfish to, because I expected them to help me, and I didn't see that they themselves needed help. I had to be the person to lend an ear when I wanted to be heard. It just took a lot of sitting down and being in the ugly of it, and doing a lot of crying some nights. But it was all in healing. And it felt better. It felt like I couldn't be disappointed or taken out of my zone, because it wasn't about what other people couldn't provide. It was more about what I was able to do for myself. And I feel like when you do things for yourself, with yourself, and with an honesty in mind, then that's when it sticks. Is when you start including other people in your healing, when they'll never be in your mind, in your body, in your feelings, you kind of set them up for failure. And I want us to stop setting people up for failure that love us, or even like us, because not everybody is meant to love you. That just truly support you how they can. Just give them space. Give them freedom. Let them love you from the space that they are supposed to. not from the space that you designate for them that they probably can't do anything about. I don't know if this was something that will be helpful to other people or what, but I just knew that if I was guilty of placing my muck on the shoulders of other people and then being angry at them for not knowing what to do with it because they were in the thick of their own things, I knew I couldn't be the only one. And sometimes we gotta call ourselves to the carpet and say, you know what? There are some apologizes that need to happen. Or apologies, not apologizes. There are some, for lack of a better word, freedom papers that need to be had. Like, I'm never gonna hold on to you anymore in that space because I realized that it was unfair of me to do that. I was selfish. I was unaware. I was sometimes uncaring. And I think when we start operating from that space of being accountable for our own stuff and freeing people from having to decide whether to keep you in their life or deal with their own healing, and not expecting them to choose us, it's freeing. I think we get more honest, more a valuable time with a person when they don't feel like it's a you or them situation. And when you place your healing on other people, essentially that's what you're doing. You're making it a you or them situation. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Maybe you can use them, maybe you can't. But that's what I got for today. Thank you for listening.